I warn you now, the story does not have anything remotely resembling a happy ending. It is without any doubt one of the more depressing tales, due to what this woman did to her only daughter. Get a call from the boss. He wants his best people at his office now for a job. 4 of us are there, and he runs down the situation for us. It's rare and urgent, as it involves a minor. Rich guy's wife has run off with a small fortune and their only child, a daughter, age 13. Doesn't give a fuck about his money or the wife, wants his daughter back. Boss wants us to get all 3 due to possibility of delicious bonuses. We're a bit dubious, not sure if this is something we should do, as it really sounds more like a police gig due to the child. While we've seen young girls go off to screw strangers with their mothers, she's never been any younger than 15. Boss makes it clear this is happening. We shrug and go over the notes. Wife is a repeat offender. 7 times to be exact, she's run off like this, and we've brought her back. Not us specifically, but the company we work for. Never taken the child with her. Many of the notes she left behind in the past lists the child as one of the reasons she fucked off. Wife has typically either gone full party train or tried to establish a new life in some shithole, each time, but surfaced when the money runs out due to not having access to the lifestyle she is accustomed to. We fear she's gone new life again, which means she'll be tough to find, even if we find out what country she's in. Quickly realize the child has no passport, so she can't have taken a commercial flight. She wouldn't charter anything less than a private jet. No luck on that front. Keep digging into possible routes away from the continent. Never tried to set up a new life on the continent. It goes on like this for months. Longest case on record at 8 months. By this point, we're all pretty much exhausted. No leads, no clues. We've tapped every contact we could think of. She had to be somewhere in Europe. Get a lead. A fucking lead at long last. A man was caught trying to sell her Rolex. The jeweler had been suspicious and checked its number against the books. He was promptly arrested, and our client had arranged for us to talk to him first. We get there, after a brief plane trip, and find an honest-to-fucking-God Catholic priest. A fucking priest had been trying to sell her a watch. Idiot don't speak no English, so only one of us can actually talk to him, making the questioning rather long and drawn out. To say he was uncooperative would be putting it lightly, but his story was that this woman came to him to get her and her daughter away from their abusive husband. This woman was obviously wealthy, as she had paid him a lot to arrange it. It was then that it clicked. The reason we'd not been able to find her was not because she hadn't taken a plane where she was going. It was because they had traveled using documents issued by the fucking Vatican, and nobody fucking checks them. With shit figured out, all we needed was a destination. A few details he let slip came together. Turned out, Mother Dear had decided to become a nun and take her daughter with her on missionary work. To fucking Africa. Client pulls strings, gets more detail info out of the Vatican. Target is located. You gotta be fucking shitting me. Motherfucking sub-Saharan Africa. Boss is hesitant to send us in, but after discussion with the client, more money is probably offered, and boss loses his mind. We get sent to Africa. 4 white guys, alone in Africa. Sounds like a great plan. We arrive at the airport expecting it to be a total shit heap. Funnily enough, it is, but there's white guys everywhere. Turns out the airport is controlled by a Western P.M.C. who work in the area, and they've been hired as guides and protective detail. Everything turned out better than expected. Until they start piling body armor on us and hand us assault rifles. 4 poor white guys completely out of their depth in the middle of what is probably a war zone. Fortunately, though, they have a decent idea of where the target is, and they notice a small church had been built there recently. It's been torn down since then, though. Pile into helichoppers and off we go. Yank mercenaries constantly talking shit the whole way and taking random pot shots at the wildlife. One of our group is pretty much having a panic attack by this point, but he keeps sufficiently calm through the proper applications of fist to face. Eventually land near a really shitty looking village. It is the stereotypical African shithole, Mud huts, flies, and emaciated animals everywhere. Then you notice things that look a bit out of place, like the expensive, for the area, old Land Rover, the new clothes on some of the people, the fact that everyone looks well fed despite nothing growing here. P.M.C. goons fan out and do their thing and start kicking down doors. There's a few shots fired, but one would not like to get involved, so we hang back. As I said, we're out of our depth. Eventually, a white woman, a white girl, and 4 African men are dragged out of the village by the P.M.C. goons and dropped at our feet. All live, fortunately, even if one of the black guys has clearly gotten a broken nose, arm, and probably a couple of ribs, judging by the bruising that's beginning to show. The 2 whites are indeed who we're looking for. They don't look like no nuns I ever saw, dressed up as natives, filthy, and pregnant. One of our unfortunate merry band has a daughter the same age as the girl. Just has to take a moment to get away from the shit in the chopper. Quick explanation from the P.M.C. goons regarding the men reveals that the one who got beat almost to death was fucking the daughter, and the other 3 were plowing the wife, who was clearly enjoying it. Wife gets all up in our face almost immediately, all on about how we have no right to tell her how to live her life, blah blah blah, her husband is a bad man, blah blah blah. Fortunately, the P.M.C. goon pistol whips her quiet after I point out that, really, we only need the daughter. At this point, the daughter is just in tears, has no clue what's going on anymore, it seems. Doesn't seem terribly bright either. The wife gets gagged and tied up, then thrown in the chopper. We find something for the little one to wear for the ride back. Spends the whole trip wearing one of the P.M.C.'s goons' jackets. She doesn't really say anything, but fills in the remaining holes in the story for us. Seems her mother did arrive here as a nun, but later on decided to marry the local chieftain, and showered the place with all the money she brought. Then the chieftain had arranged for his son to marry the daughter. His son, by the looks of him, was in his mid to late 20s. Nobody really feels happy about this shit. She's too far into it for an abortion to really be feasible. We arrange for a pickup from the boss, and the awkwardness ensues. The client shows up in a private jet. His half-naked pregnant 13-year-old daughter, his almost completely naked pregnant wife, and 4 worn-out, tired and scruffy-looking white guys await him as he comes running down the steps from his plane. For a second, we thought he was going to do a 180 without stopping and fly away. But to his credit, he did seem genuinely happy to see his daughter was safe, blamed the wife for everything, made us take the daughter aboard, who by this point was in full PTSD mode. He stayed outside with the P.M.C. goons, arguing with his wife for what seemed like forever. I will not lie, we were expecting to hear a gunshot. We were all waiting for it. Instead, she got re-gagged and brought to the plane, locked into one of the toilets for the entire trip, trussed up like a hog. On arriving back home, the client gave us his personal thanks and a bonus to ensure proper discretion. We fucked off. Found out the wife died the next day in a car accident. Fuck knows what happened to the daughter, but she's alive probably. Niglet was probably put up for adoption somewhere far, far away.